What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to poker vlog number 5 here at Fortune Poker yet again, going into the 1-3 game, and I got my boy, the myth, Joshua with me. So yeah, he had a nice big win last time, and hopefully we can get into some cool stuff again. That's it.
Yeah, let's run it.
Let's get right into it.
Good luck.
We do get right into it, as a lot of these people at the table I notice are crazy with action, and I'm super excited to get started. Some of the guys across the table, they notice me, start talking about me, and they're like, hey, aren't you that poker vlogger from Fortune? And indeed I am. So shout outs to Patrick and the other gentleman. I didn't catch your name. Don't fret though, we also remember the names of Cameron, Mike to my right, and Dave to my left. So super excited to play with all of you guys. It was a blast. The first notable hand of the session, we got pocket tens and under the gun +1, where I raise it to 10 and the low jack, hijack, and big blind make the call. 4 ways to a flop, it comes 9-3-2 rainbow. Big blind checks down on over to me, so I continue to bet for 20, where the low jack and the hijack make the call and the big blind gets out of the way. The turn is now the 6 of clubs, not really bringing too much else to this board, and I want to protect my hand, so I size up a little bit here to $50. The low jack folds and the hijack makes the call for the second time, which is a little bit scary, so let's evaluate on a river. The river now comes the king of hearts, and I wasn't super stoked about this card, as he could be floating with a lot of overcards, so I check it to him. He then jams all in for $141, and I am not super excited about this spot, as like I said earlier, he could be floating with a lot of overcards, or maybe pocket jacks if he didn't 3-bet me for whatever reason. I've definitely seen it done with jacks and kings within this place, as well as queens. So yeah, or he could have a set, which would really suck, or some stupid 2-pair that he should have folded but was maybe priced in when everyone else was calling pre-flop. I sit there for a little bit, and I'm not super excited about this position, so I made the fold, and later on he told me he had king 9 offsuit for top pair on the flop and 2-pair on the river. So a little unfortunate there, but he was glad to make the vlog. I knew something was a little bit fishy on this river when he jammed it all in on me, because what would he really be bluffing with? I mean, there was really no missed draws, and I honestly felt beat. Glad to just get away from this one. For this next hand, we got pocket ya boys. That's right, we got the Jeremy Josephs here in the big blind. The cutoff raises to 12, the button calls, so I 3-bet it to 45, and both are going to make the call. 3 ways to a flop, it comes queen, queen, 8, 2 hearts. Especially with 2 players just making the call, I definitely think I could be beat here and someone could have a queen, so I check it on over to them. Just sitting down at this table, I didn't have much of a read, but when the cutoff bets out for a little less than half pot, I definitely should be making the call here, since it wasn't for a crazy amount, as he could also be on some type of heart draw, but I don't know what got into me. I was already down a decent amount from the first hand and the other one, and I let that get to my head. So with the button getting out of the way, we would be just heads up and out of position. I just really wasn't comfortable with this spot, even though I should absolutely be making the call, especially on this board. I make the fold. Roast me in the comments. I'm so sorry. And he later told me that he had a lower pair than I did.
Over here. Come on, shoot me.
I tried to save some face at the table, and it just didn't go well, and I got really nervous, and I really just beat myself up on this hand, so all we can do is learn from this and go to the next one. Let's make sure we're not making mistakes like that in the future, but who knows, it could definitely happen. This next hand, we got 6-7 of clubs on the big blind. Under the gun +1 raises it to 12, the cutoff, the button, and the small blind call, and with that much goodness going on, and I have a pretty good hand that plays well multi-way, I make the call. 5 ways to a flop, we see queen 8 2 1 club. Small blind checks it to me, and I'm going to check as well with a lot of backdoor draws.
It seems like no one as much as it checks around.
The turn comes the 9 of diamonds, giving us an open ender, so we're actually going to be able to put some money in this pot. The small blind does it for us and bets out for 30. I make the call, hoping someone else does, so we can start building this pot, but everyone else folds, and we're going heads up to a river. The river comes the 7 of diamonds, and with a little bit of showdown, I hope he'll just check it to me, and I can just check it back, and we can see what's up. That doesn't happen, though. He bets out for 40.
3, and I really wasn't super comfortable with this. If I would hit my straight, I'd definitely be calling or raising here, but with just a bluff catcher at this point, I just make the fold.
Looking back at the footage you just saw, he ended up showing what he had to the camera, and he had queen, king for top pair, good kicker. Nice hand, Mike. This next hand, we have ace-jack suited. We make a raise ourselves, get 3-bet, make a call, and completely whiff the flop out of position. Didn't want to get too sticky, so lost some there. With another hand, we call a raise with 6-3 suited in the small blind. We flop 1 diamond where it checks all around. The turn comes a diamond where someone bets. I make the call, and so does someone else, and the river blanks out, so we lose some there. Another quick one for you guys, as we had ace queen of spades where we tried to chase the nut flush, where myself and 2 other players were trying to go at it, where we ended up losing to a pair and we only really had ace high. At this point, I was down about $300 for only sitting down for about an hour and a half. Next up, we got 6-7 of spades in the small blind where an action player in the hijack raises it to 20. I make the call, and so does the big blind. We're going 3 ways to a flop, which is 7-6-5. Oh, baby, flopping 2 pair. I like to elect on a check here as I'm looking to hit him with a nice check raise, but sadly they both check back. A little bit shocking considering the hijack was pretty actiony. Turn comes a 5 of diamonds, pairing the board, and I want to go for the same plan as on the flop, so I check. Still doesn't work out as both players check as well. Now this is getting a little bit frustrating. When the 10 of diamonds comes out on the river, I bet out for 60, and both players make the fold, so I tried to catch up on a little bit of the value there on the river by betting a little bit bigger. I don't know, maybe I could have sized down, but it seems like they really didn't have anything to begin with. Especially against these 2 players, when the hijack is raising pre-flop, I've seen him raise with a lot of random hands. I've seen him raise with 8-4 offsuit and just really anything in between. So if he's wild enough to bet 8-4, I think he would bet any sort of draw where I can charge the maximum. So I really think these guys had absolutely nothing. And in times like these, when it's a little bit frustrating at the table, you just gotta be calm, cool, collective, and wait for a better spot. That spot finally comes as this hand is all over the title and thumbnail. I have 6-5 of diamonds on the button. Under the gun +1 makes a raise to 12. The hijack calls, and I make the call as well. We're going 3 ways to a flop, which is A7-8 all diamonds, flopping a flush and a straight flush open ender. We got this board completely locked up, and even better when under the gun pre-flop raiser bets out for 15. The hijack makes the fold, and I'm just going to make the call here as I'm not trying to scare him off with such a lockdown board. The turn comes the king of hearts. This isn't too scary at all, because even if he has the king of diamonds, he now has a pair and he's just going to be sticking around. So this is probably going to be good news for us. He doesn't stop betting as he continues out for 25 here on the turn. This is beautiful as we really want to start getting as much money into the middle as possible at this point. So I raise it up to 75, and he doesn't really think very long before making the call. So it's a little bit alarming, but I really just think that I wanted to get as much value as possible. At this point, it could have a lot of aces, 2 pairs, or have the king of diamonds for some type of redraw to a better flush, but we're just going to hope the river breaks out. The river is the perfect card as it's the 4 of hearts, not really completing anything, and I still think we got the winner here. He thinks about it for a little bit where he ends up shuffling his chips around, kind of giving him the hibbity-dibbity chip shuffle dance, and I wasn't too sure about this. It didn't really feel like strength, so I was kind of hoping he bet out, and I was just going to raise him again. But after a little bit of thinking, he checks it on over to me, and there wasn't a lot of value I didn't think I could get if I thought he was weak and or weaker than my flush. So I come up with a sizing of 60, which is pretty small, but I definitely think he can get called. It's good news as he does make the call rather quickly and shows us that he has ace-king for top 2 pair, but we flop the flush on him and the table goes wild. Sadly, we didn't hit the straight flush, but at least we're having a nice big pot coming our way to get out of this hole. Next hand, we had pocket kings in a good position where an action player raised it up to 15. I make a 3-bet to 50 and take it down. Then we had king 10 of diamonds from under the gun where I raise. I get 1 caller. We see a flop of 2 diamonds. We ended up missing our flush, and the other player had a straight anyhow, but it would have been nice to suck out on a diamond there as we could have gotten a sweet pot coming our way. Then we had ace-king suited in the small blind where a middle position player raises. I 3-bet to 45. He calls. I c-bet the flop and take this one down, and that's the last of our small recaps. Back to the normal hands. Speaking of hands, make sure you guys use those hands of yours to tap or like the subscribe subscribe and like button down below. I really appreciate the support you guys have given me so far. It's really, really appreciated. Thank you so much. The very next shuffle, the hijack raises it to 12, and we are here on the button looking down at another playable hand. We got ourselves pocket tens. Still trying to think and write down some notes from the last hand. I just make the call, which also entices the big blind to call as well. And we're going 3 ways to a flop, which is 7-3-3 rainbow. The big blind checks. The hijack continues for 15. And knowing he can have any 2 cards, I just make the call. The big blind folds and the turn comes out, which is the ace of diamonds. Not a super great card as it's a card over our pair. However, the hijack doesn't stop betting and he continues for 40. I've seen him bluff before, and I know the ace can definitely help him a lot more than it can help me, as it's going to catch his raising range, but I still don't believe him quite yet, so I make the call. The river now comes a 7 of diamonds, pairing the board, and no other straights or flushes get there. However, when he bets out for 50, I wasn't really sure what to do here. The only thing I'm really losing to, of course, is any 7, any 3, or any ace, but that's about it, and there's not that much else out there that's going on. With no straights or flushes being out there, I was kind of ready to make the call, but I wanted to see if I can get some type of reaction out of him, so I started counting out my chips, and I left it out in front of me, looking at him the whole time. I didn't really see much, and I wanted to think about it just for another second longer, but then he said this to me.
This would be a good vlog hand.
I know, right?
I could try and do my best to take it out and roll.
I call.
You're good. Whatever you have, I can guarantee you it's good.
Once he started talking to me, it confirmed my suspicions that he was weak, because if he had a really strong hand, why would it be a good vlog hand? I'm not really sure, but that's the read I got, and it was the right one. Super excited to take this one down for you guys on the vlog, as I got a nice live read, and I was able to catch his reaction, so nice hand, Cameron. For the last hand of the session, we will be going over. I hit the record button just a little bit late, so my apologies on that, but we're on the button with pocket queens, and with Cameron in the hijack, he limps it over to me. I raise it up to 15, and he makes the call. We're going heads up to a flop, which is king 5-3 rainbow. He checks it on over to me, where I'm going to c-bet for 15 to protect my hand, and he makes the call. The turn comes the 3 of hearts, where he checks it over to me again. I'm going to practice a little bit of pot control and check it back. In hindsight, I probably should be betting here, but that's all right, as the river now comes out the 8 of clubs, where he checks it over to me again. There's definitely some sort of value I could be getting here, as it seems like he could have any type of 5. Of course, if he has a 3, I don't think he would be betting here, and a king, I think he would be doing the same. So I bet out for 20 on this river, and I get some really interesting news. Baffled by this move, I'm kind of taken back a little bit, but I at least got to ask. How much is that?
Let's see here.
We got 50, 75, 85, 86. Total 86.
Ugh, what a tough spot he's putting me in. I mean, would he really be check raising with a 3 or a king? It seems like he might just be trying to bluff with the 5 in his hand. I'm really not sure what I want to do here. And then he says this to me.
I'll let you pick one card and you can turn it over.
I like that.
Pick one.
I'll flip this guy. Well, I can still beat a decent amount of stuff here. I call.
You're good. I got 8-5.
Thank you. He allowed me to flip over one of his 2 cards, and I flipped over the 2 of spades, showing that he either needed 2-3 or 2 king to really beat me on this, or yeah, I don't know what line that was, but I super appreciate the action, Cameron. I know you wanted to be on the vlog, so really glad to have played with you, my man. Thank you so much for the awesome content. After a great session, it's time to rack up and head on out. Just got out of there. We had a very up and down session. Josh saw some crazy stuff go down. What was the hand you saw? There was a straight on the board, And
the one of the players who was still in, over $300 probably, he didn't notice the straight on the board and he mucked his hand.
he mucked his hand against the other guy who had a set. So like he just like pissed away a huge hand. So Josh had a crazy table, a lot of weird stuff going on. But yeah, my table was full of action, real cool dudes. Shout out to those guys. It was Dave. It's Dave, Michael, Cameron, and Patrick. Those were the homies for the night. And I didn't catch the other guy's name before he left. The dude from the Pocket 1010. But it was good. It was fun. I was in for, let's see, 600, out for 743. So made I think that's the most I've made here actually walking out. And Josh...
Down 400.
Yeah, he was in for 400, out for 0. So sadly, he couldn't make another cool comeback.
We'll come back again.
Yeah,
we'll run it.
Probably be back next week. But thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciating the support so far. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All that good stuff. Super appreciate it. So it was a good sesh, and we will be back soon. Thank you so much, guys. Really quick, before ending this video, I just wanted to go over that we will be doing $10,000 challenge. I'm trying to build my bankroll from where we're at now, 238 profit after playing my entire poker career, and I'm going to try to showcase every session in between. There may be a few things here and there, but I want to keep you guys posted where the bankroll's at. So right now we're at positive 238, and I'm going to have some type of picture up here showing you guys exactly all of my sessions from the previous vlogs and everything that I have written down. So very excited to get started to adding in a little bit of stakes with the 10K series. So that'll be a lot of fun. And once we hit $10,000 in the bankroll, I want to play a 2-5 or a 3-5 game for my first time ever on the vlog. So that'll be a ton of fun. So gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Really appreciate the support, and yeah, have a good one.